Today I want to talk about financial literacy, the importance that this has in all our lives, and the disjustice I feel that has been done in not educating our students and ourselves in this area. So today I'm going to show a video here in just a second. I'm going to go over some things I think we should be doing to help our students, to help us as adults, and then I'm going to put forth some recommendations that I have that we can all improve our financial education, our knowledge, our literacy of things, because learning never stops. It's something we have to continuously keep doing to stay on top of things and improve the growth in our finances long term and become wealthy. So before I get started, if you're new to this channel, welcome. I'm somebody that provides transparency. I show my portfolio performance. I show, diverse quality content, and I'm always improving myself. And so this is really a journey for us all to grow together and learn things. So please subscribe to my channel, and thank you to everyone who is subscribed. So let's get started by watching this video, and then we'll talk more about it afterwards.
I wish I had it when I was growing up. And if you don't have that basic foundation and that knowledge, you're not going to be able to succeed in life.
Only 12 states require high school students take personal finance as a standalone course to graduate. Florida, the latest state to mandate that requirement. And personal finance bills are currently pending in another 18 states. Advocates say we need to do a better job of teaching good financial habits at a young age.
When I went to school, home economics was a standard offering, and I think that element of household planning and financial planning is probably one of the most foundational pieces of information that young students need to learn how to do early in life.
Personal finance class should be given to every student in high school. It should be given to every student in college.
So as we saw, only 12 states currently teach personal finance. Another 18 states are hopefully going to pass this, but this should be in all 50 states, and honestly, it should be worldwide. Teaching personal finance and increasing financial literacy really creates financial independence for individuals, which gives you more power over your life and provides a brighter and wealthier future. That is what we are not really teaching and have not for a long time. I know in school myself, we didn't have any personal finance classes. It was algebra, it was, science class and all these things that, to be honest, they're good to help build your critical thinking and everything, but it does not really support the real world things that are gonna hit you and, long term, you're gonna wish you knew. So I wish I would have been taught about investing earlier on, because I feel like I got started late because I didn't have that knowledge. But since then, I've educated myself and I've been investing, and it's already creating a bright financial wealthy future for myself. And I'm providing passive income through dividends already. And I'm getting over $1,000 a year in dividends. So what I think we should be teaching students and also adults, I think it should start in elementary school, like an introduction, middle school, a little bit heavier on the subject, and then really focus in high school and college. And then, as adults, there's things that we can do that I'm going to share at the end that will help us stay on top of things and grow ourselves, because you should never be content with where you're at in your knowledge. You should always strive to keep growing and learning more. So if we look at this here, what is the definition of financial literacy? It is the ability to understand and effectively use various financial skills, including personal finance management, budgeting, and investing. Financial literacy is the foundation of your relationship with money, and it is a lifelong journey of learning. So that last sentence is what I want to stress, a lifelong journey of learning. We cannot ever be content with where we're at with our knowledge, because then things will pass us by, and we won't reach those goals that we strive for. So where are we now in the state of America with regards to money? Well, 56% of Americans cannot cover $1,000 emergency expense with savings. That to me is just something that is unacceptable. We need to start educating people on the importance of saving money. And then 52% of Americans say they are under more financial stress now than a year ago. In times like this where inflation is running high, there's a lot of volatility in the stock market. It's important to be educated on how to handle different cyclical situations in the stock market or situations in the economy how do we handle these things? These are things that need to be taught. The average household owes more than $150,000 in overall debt, and that to me is something that needs to be reduced. We need to educate people on debt, because a lot of people run to debt thinking, oh, I'm going to be able to borrow money and this is going to allow me to get something in my hands right now, but long term, what is the cost? And then 57% of US adults say they're financially literate. Now this is only adults, 57%, which means there's still a huge percentage of Americans that don't feel financially literate. And I really think that's because we aren't teaching these things starting at a young age. So what should we be teaching students, adults, kind of across the board? Well, first of all, I think we need to teach people how to budget. Budgeting is very important because it allows you to see the income you're bringing in and the expenses that you're paying out. And then you got to set up some goals, right? I've helped some people create budgets because I've done it for myself. And it's helped them to pay off, for example, a student loan within 5 years instead of having that loan sit on your back for 20 plus years. When I was in college, I sat down and created a budget for myself. And what it does is it brings to light certain things that you might not look at unless if you put it on paper. I was spending so much money buying lunch at restaurants during college. It was, when I saw the total, it was an eye-opener. So I started packing my lunch and saved a lot of money doing that. So budgeting just allows you to see areas that, hey, I didn't realize I was spending this much money on going out to eat, or on my subscriptions, or buying clothes, or whatever the case may be. So to me, budgeting is essential to help cut those expenses and to help put money towards the things that you should be putting it towards, like paying down debt, saving for a rainy day, or even a vacation. It's amazing to me that people are like, oh, I wish I can go on a vacation, I can't afford it. I bet you can if you take the time to sit down and budget. Now, with budgeting, I do understand that, this can get time consuming. So my recommendation is, I think it's something you do quarterly. You sit down, you list all your income, all your expenses, put some goals down, and then move forward with that plan. And then, the next quarter, look at it, see where you're at with your goals, update that budget. Because to do it daily, it's a lot. I know there's some apps out there I haven't tried, but maybe those might help as well to maybe quickly look at things. But I think, quarterly or maybe monthly is best to update the budget, look at those goals to remind yourself what you're wanting to achieve. So budgeting is one topic I think is very important. The next one is savings. I can't stress enough, you saw that many people can't even afford a $1,000 expense. Savings is for many different things, right? Saving for taxes, saving for that, the rainy day fund. They always recommend 3 to 6 months of your expenses you need to save in case you get let go from a job. Thankfully, I learned at a young age the importance of savings. So when something would break on my vehicle, I could pay for it, get it fixed right then and there, and I still had cushion left over. And then I could just resave that money back up to my goal that I wanted in my savings. And then, the next thing that would come up, I could easily pay for it. It wouldn't stop my life. It wouldn't prevent me from, my other goals. It would just be a, quick little cut in my savings, and then I'd bring it right back up. So savings are so important. And that's the second thing I think that should be taught. The third thing, which I think is very, very important, is investing. This is one thing I wish I would have learned about at a younger age, because if I would have started investing, at the age between 18 and 25, where I would be today in my mid-30s would be phenomenal. But investing, learning the importance of your future, of retirement, of accumulating assets, and just having that kind of snowball effect occur is important. I think the problem right now, and where I see the lack of education, is too many people, new investors, are day trading or options trading. they're margin trading, they're doing all these risky things with their money because they want instant gratification. It's important to learn delayed gratification because money doesn't work that way. Some people get lucky, I will admit that, but that's very few. It's like winning the lottery. The goal should always be long term, and that should be the sight that you put in everything you do when it comes to investing. Put some goals. Do you have a 5-year investing goal, 10, 20, a goal to retirement? Have different buckets, and that will help you invest in different ways. But too many people are taking big risks with their money, and I can't tell you how many times on some feeds that I'm on with investing does someone post and say, I made a big mistake, I sold out of all my stocks, and now they're all up massively. What should I do? So investing to me is very important and should be taught. The next thing is protecting your assets, your investments. I think insurance is an important thing to learn about, especially with the difference between over or underinsured. And then now with the digital age, everything's online, that's how you do everything nowadays, protecting those things, right? There's a lot of phishing scams and just a ton of risk out there that we need to continuously educate ourselves on and protect those things that we work so hard for to build up. So I think the security of our finances is important and another topic I'd like to see taught. Now the last and also probably one of the most important ones is borrowing money, loans, credit card debt. These things are all things that are very important to understand because a lot of people will borrow money, they'll get the money right up front, but they don't think of the long-term consequences. Debt can be a vicious cycle that is very hard to get out of if you start letting it build up. And this will hurt things like your credit score. I think credit scores are something that is very important for people to learn about. And then how to pay off debt, how to lower that debt or be debt-free is something that I think is so essential. Having no debt or very little of it is freedom, right? You're not chained to these monthly payments for 10, 20, 30 years. And I think that's essential to really focus on because then it limits your growth in other areas like savings and investing and that vacation you want to take. So I think debt, loan, borrowing money is another important topic we need to focus on. So what can we do as adults, right? Because most of the people watching my channel are out of school, but if you're in school, you probably aren't taking personal finance classes. So what can we do to help ourselves grow, become more financially literate, more educated on finances, so on and so forth, because learning never stops. Well, I wrote down some things that I think are important to do to keep us growing, learning, and becoming more wealthy with the decisions we make. So one is to subscribe to a channel like myself. YouTube is free and there's a lot of great channels out there that provide a lot of education around finances. That is something I strive to do on this channel, and there's many other channels that do this as well. So I really recommend that you find some good channels, subscribe to them, start learning, hearing a different perspective, because it's a good thing to do. There's also free newsletters that you could sign up to that provide a lot of education around finances. So if you trade stocks on brokers like Robinhood or Fidelity, they provide free financial newsletters. And it's something that I read all the time, and I learn things that I never would have learned before, right? Or I think of things in a different way that I wouldn't have thought of before. And so yes, subscribing to YouTube channels or newsletters that are free are just essential. You can even pay for some if you want. They're not that expensive, but I think it's very important. The other thing is listening to financial podcasts. How many times do we maybe go on a road trip or we're cooking dinner and we listen to music and we listen to songs that we've listened to 1,000 times? Why not switch it up and start listening to financial podcasts? It's something I do when I'm cooking dinner or when I'm on a long road trip, is I'm starting to filter in some financial podcasts or YouTube channels and listening so I can start educating myself more. It's okay to still listen to music, but maybe start filtering in and sharing that free time with some financial educational podcasts or YouTube videos. So that's another thing, is financial podcasts. Then I recommend reading some personal finance books. This is my downfall. I'm not a reader, but I want to start doing so. There's a lot of books out there that are recommended to help you grow in your financial education. So I suggest researching, finding some books. They're probably fairly inexpensive, or you can rent them out at a library and start reading some material on financial topics to educate yourself. I think it's a great way to do so. I think this next one is more of a new thing, but utilize social media. I have joined many different investing, pages on Facebook, and I follow along, and I've learned so much from these other people on these pages, because a lot of them, when you choose to join a group, a lot of people have the same goal of becoming wealthy, growing in their education and things like that. So I've learned a lot from these groups, and it allows you to also interact, right? You can ask questions, you can help others and comment, you can start a conversation, and you learn things as well that way. So I suggest utilizing social media, joining some investing or different financial groups to help expand your interaction and your education in that aspect. It's a really good tool, and I've really enjoyed that actually a lot, and I've learned a lot and been able to reach out and ask some questions and help things get answered or get more educated on it so I can make a better decision myself. Next is, I don't think many people do this because this is what we talked about just a little bit ago, but create a budget, right? And like I said, I think doing it an update to it monthly or quarterly is just fine, because updating it weekly or daily, it is too much in my opinion, and not many things change, right, with your finances as far as your income and your expenses. But looking at it regularly is going to keep you on top of your goals, is going to keep you on top of looking at things where, hey, this went up a lot, why did it do so? Or I'm spending way too much money going out to eat. The things that we talked about before. I think creating a budget is essential. And then lastly, talk to a financial professional. There are many people out there that, you just got to take some thought, that you probably know that are professionals in some topic or another. Myself, I'm an accountant with my company, and I know a lot about corporate finances. I also am an expert at reinsurance. So I like to share that knowledge with others. There's other people I know that are more educated in other areas that I like to talk to, and that's another way that you can increase your knowledge set around anything financially related. So that's another thing, is kind of look around you and see if there's any financial professionals that, hey, let's grab lunch. I would just like to talk about finances and pick your brain based on your experience. I think, it can almost act like a mentorship, and it'd be a great thing. So these are all things that, I hope in the future does get done to help the youth and start early, so it provides them that future financial independence, power over their lives, and building of wealth. And for ourselves, what we can start doing today is what I went over, right? Subscribing to YouTube channels, getting books, podcasts, newsletters, utilizing social media, start keeping a budget, and talk to financial professionals are all things we can do to just expand our knowledge, help us to create more wealth for ourselves, because we cannot get complacent with thinking we know it all, because that's one good way to miss out on good opportunities and expanding your knowledge to expand your wealth. So I really hope that this video inspires you guys to take a little bit more action on your part in different areas that will help you. And I also just wanted to bring up this kind of issue with us not teaching students personal finance, and I hope it continues to go more towards that. And if you have kids, it's a great opportunity for you yourself to help as well and teach them as well. I love to talk about finances to other people if they're open to it, because you never want to force a topic on somebody or they're going to be resistant to it. But once people start seeing what you have done with your finances, your portfolio and stuff, they're going to want to open an ear to that, because they're going to want to be a part of it, and start educating those around you is also a good thing you can do for those, to help them become wealthy. So let's all work on becoming more financially independent, creating more power over our lives, and building a brighter and wealthier future for ourselves, which is just, I think, going to create a domino effect with those around us, because they see that they're going to want to learn and grow in that area as well. So let me know what you guys thought of this video. If you do any of these things now to help yourself continuously gain the knowledge, what you think of the current state of our country and this world and the lack of personal finance teaching. And let's start a conversation about this. I think it's important, and there's probably things that I am not thinking of that I can do to help myself grow. And I'd love to hear that and take some notes of that, and probably take action on that as well. So I hope you guys have a great day, and we'll see you next time on Mark Arnold's Finance.